We've unfortunately known for a while now the sad truth that the days of petrol performance cars, well, they're numbered. As more and more brands move towards electrification, those iconic cars which were built for driving enthusiasts, well, they're going to be no more. And the likes of the Hyundai Ioniq 5N, they've had a go at replicating it, and I did love that car. But you just can't beat a naturally aspirated petrol performance car like this, the Toyota GR86. And to me, some of the best sports cars are not the most powerful. Hi guys, I'm Tish and welcome back to my channel Auto Social UK. I very luckily got to go to Le Mans with Toyota and I took this, the Toyota GR86, and it reminded me of why cars like this are so special. They have so many quirks and they're not the easiest cars to drive, but it reminded me of why these cars are so enjoyable. So in today's video, I'm going to tell you all the reasons that I love the Toyota GR86. We're going to play a bit of homage to the petrol performance car, but also I'm going to be giving away this hat. So this is a GR Gazoo Racing hat from Le Mans, 40 years of Le Mans on the side, and I've had it signed by the drivers. I was lucky enough to get this whilst I was in Le Mans with Toyota, and I want to give it away to one of you guys. So if you want to be in a chance of winning this hat, then all you have to do is be subscribed to the Also Social UK channel, which of course you are already, but also I want you to head over to the Tish Does Travel channel. I'm going to pop it up somewhere here. I want you to go to the Le Mans vlog and I want you to put in the comments, I want to win the hat. And then one of those people I'm going to pick at random and you're going to win the signed hat from Le Mans, and also I'll throw in some other goodies as well. So make sure you do that. And if you really want to see more reviews like this, then you know what to do. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button. So if you want to find out all the reasons that I love the Toyota GR86 and what makes it so special, then please keep watching. So first of all, why don't we have a little bit of history into the 86?
The Toyota GR86 is the spiritual successor of the much-loved GT86, a car that built a loyal following in the UK for its pure driver-focused ethos. Launched in 2012, the GT86 was co-developed with Subaru and brought back the affordable rear-wheel drive coupe formula. With a low centre of gravity, balanced chassis and manual gearbox, it prioritised fun over outright speed, appealing to driving enthusiasts looking for an old-school feel in a modern package. The GR86 arrived in 2022 as a sharper, more powerful evolution. Still partnered with Subaru, it swapped the 2-litre engine for a torquier 2.4-litre flat 4, addressing the main criticism of the GT86. It retained the engaging driving dynamics, but with better refinement and performance. Unfortunately, due to tougher EU regulations, the GR86 was only on sale briefly in the UK, with just 430 units allocated, all which sold out within hours. That limited run has cemented its status as a modern classic and one of the last truly analogue affordable sports cars.
This is going to sound like a bit of a weird thing to say, but for the first time for as long as I can remember, this actually feels like I'm driving a car. And let me explain what I mean by that. So many modern cars that I test nowadays, whether they be petrol, electric, hybrid, they have so many systems in place. You have adaptive cruise control, autonomous driving, anti-collision warning, traffic sign recognition, you have speed warnings, and all of these features mean that a lot of the time you have to sit back and you're not driving the car, not really like you used to. Whereas this, the GR86, I know it's only a couple of years old now, but it has that driving engagement. It really feels like you are the one in control of driving the car. And the funny thing about that is it actually highlights the good drivers from the bad. And how do I know that? Because it highlighted me as a bad driver. Driving all these modern cars with all of these technologies which are ultimately in place to keep us safe, I had forgotten how to properly drive a car. So I get in this and I forget to check my speed because it's not telling me when I'm going over the speed limit. And I make sure that I brake when I've got my cruise control on because it's not adaptive. And also just the gears as well. I do still have a manual car myself, so I've got the Up GTI, but that's slightly easier to drive. In fact, I think that's one of the easiest kind of performance orientated vehicles that you can drive. It's a real gateway into these kind of cars, but this is completely different. It reminds me a little bit of the Hyundai i30N, and that car has a race clutch. Now, I wouldn't say that this quite has a race clutch, but it definitely has a clutch in the sense that you have to really pay attention to when you're changing gear, how many revs you're using, because otherwise you will find yourself embarrassingly stalling it. And I did exactly that when I was getting onto the tunnel on Le Château, which was rather embarrassing, especially with people from Toyota behind me and in front of me to see me do that very thing. But it's so engaging in a similar sense. So as much as it feels a little bit alien to start with and can be a little bit scary to actually have to properly be in charge of a car again, you start to remember the more you drive it why these cars are such good fun. Now, this car has got a 2.4 litre flat 4 engine, so it's not turbocharged, which in my opinion, hate it or love it, I think that some of the best cars don't have to be turbocharged, and I definitely think the GR86 falls into that category. And it definitely feels like it's been set up for performance rather than outright power. And the things with cars like this is so much more engineering has gone into building a car like this, because they're not just making it seriously quick and then just relaxing after that. They're building a car which needs you to drive it hard, and with that it needs to have balance. It needs to have the right balance of steering engagement, so the steering is perfect. It's not too heavy that you can't drive it around town, and in situations when you need to do sort of little turns in the road it can still do that, but it has enough weight to the steering that when you're driving on the back roads like I am today, it really feels engaging as you're turning the wheel, and it just feels so nimble as well. This is such a light little car, and you can really tell that because it really nips around those corners and goes exactly where you want it to go. The gears as well, although I said I'm not used to a manual gearbox and it can be a little bit more difficult to use these gears with it needing quite a bit of revs, it is a fantastic gearbox. The throws are short, and it definitely encourages you to use them as well. You want to constantly be dropping down those gears to get that noise from the engine. And that's another thing about not having a turbocharged engine. Whee! A little bit of skid out there and the rear wheel drive makes it so much fun. It is just one of those cars that you want to have a bit of fun with. I will say, driving it all the way to France and back, it's probably not the best use of this car, because with no adaptive cruise control and with the manual gearbox, it was a little bit monotonous after a long amount of time, and it also hasn't got much soundproofing either. I don't know if you can hear, but there's a lot of road noise. But that's because they just weren't concentrating on those things. They weren't building a car that you could commute in on long journeys and it be comfortable. The whole point of this car was to build a car which was going to ignite driving enthusiasts, and that is exactly what it's done. The perfect way to sum up this car is it's the anti-modern car. To me, the interior of the GR86 hits a really nice balance. It doesn't feel overly sporty in here, but there's definitely hints at its potential, like these lovely leather bucketed seats with the Alcantara down the centre. You also have GR on the steering wheel as well, but it feels refreshingly old school. You do have some modern features. For instance, you have got a digital driver's display, which as you start it up you get this spinning GR, which I really quite like. But also it just feels old school in its approach. It feels like an old Japanese car. You've got this central touchscreen here, which certainly feels of an older generation, and it kind of is. But I don't mind that in this car. But it is still fitted with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and you've got these lovely physical climate control dials as well, and also you've got those physical switch buttons at the bottom. The perfect combination of all the buttons you want and need, but you still have modern features like the keyless entry and start. You do also still have a physical handbrake, and you have your physical gear selector as well. So this car does feel truly old school in the way that you drive it, and I love the fact that it still has a handbrake for certain reasons that I'm not going to mention. It's also pretty practical as well. You've got heated seats in the centre here, and you've got an armrest which has a couple of cup holders. And what I love about this car is the cup holder here, just in the door. It's in the perfect position for when you're driving. I've really enjoyed this, and you can also put a large bottle in there as well, which is really handy. The setup does just feel so driver focused, and ultimately that is what this car is all about. The steering wheel feels fantastic. You have the reach and rake adjustment, and you've also got manual seats. So the setup is so analog, but I really don't mind that. It means that you can find your perfect driving position. If that means you have to go up a little bit to be able to see over the bonnet, or whether you like driving down nice and low like I do. There's lots of different options, and it just feels very, very familiar inside here. It reminds me of cars that I used to have when I was growing up, rather than all these modern cars with so much going on. And as soon as you get in this car, you know where everything is, you know how to use everything. There's nothing complicated about this car, which I know is going to be so refreshing to many people. Whilst I would absolutely love to give you a good laugh and get into the back seats of the GR86, I don't know if you can tell, but I'm running a little bit late, so we're not going to do that today. But what I can tell you is they're small. They're obviously small. But it does mean that you can justify having this car as a family car, because you can fit 2 child seats in the back there. But really, that's what it's best used for. Children, or just as an extension of the boot, which is certainly what I was using it for. There's a few different ways to access the boot. You can always use the key, but also there's a button just above the Toyota badge. Now, inside of this boot, you'll find 229 litres, which doesn't sound like a huge amount, but actually that's nearly 100 litres more than a Mazda MX-5, and you also have the 2 extra seats over the Mazda as well. I was really pleasantly surprised that me taking everything and the kitchen sink over to France with me for a week, I was able to fit 2 small carry-on suitcases and multiple bags inside this boot. Sometimes when I spend time with a car like the GR86, it makes me wish that I'd been born sort of 10-15 years earlier, so I could do what I do now but get to experience all of these petrol performance cars. I do love the move towards electrification, and ultimately I do really think that we need to look after our planet, and whether that means looking after our older cars or whether that means moving towards electrification, we all need to do our bit. But it is so sad to me that cars like this aren't going to be able to be experienced by the younger generation. So if you have a car like this, then make sure you stick with it, look after it like I do with my Lupo GTI, and share it with the younger generation. All I know is this is what Toyota does best. This embodies all of their racing heritage and everything which makes them special. Let me know what your favourite Toyota is in the comments down below. I really hope you have enjoyed this video today, guys. If you have, go ahead and give it a big thumbs up. And if you want to see more, then make sure you hit that subscribe button. And don't forget, if you want to be in with a chance of winning the signed GR hat, 40 years of Le Mans, then make sure you head over to Tish Does Travel and you comment, "I want to win the hat," on my Le Mans vlog. I really hope you've enjoyed the video, and until next time, guys, see you later.